Hello everyone, welcome to Atomic ACCS exam solving series, and we are moving forward with section B of Audit and Assurance pre-mock exam for June 2025 session. We're done with one whole case study. We're done with all the easier reading parts. Now we have only few more sections that is pending, that is from the case study number 2, and I think one small question of the substantive procedure we have from case study number 3. So we'll be solving all of this in this particular video. So let's start. This is case study number 2. We have three requirements. I think the third requirement was related to that Laszlo company about that benefits of audit committee. So that is done. So we had internal control question over here, and I think we had an internal control question in the next one as well. Cool. So these two are the requirements we have for second case study. So let's begin. We need three deficiencies over here. What are they asking? Identify and explain three deficiencies in the payroll system. So over here, if you look at the subheadings, you can see payroll and you can see inventory count also. So we have to find three deficiencies from this paragraph alone. I mean these paragraphs alone. And provide a recommendation. Okay, that is okay. Then it's for 6 marks altogether. So two for each and 2 into 3, 6 marks. All right. So let's start reading this. You're an audit. So let's You're an audit supervisor with OD and Company, currently in charge of two clients, John's Junction Electronics Company and Laszlo Company. Okay, so Laszlo Company was the next one. It is 1st July 20x5. John's Junction Electronics JJ is a manufacturer of electrical equipment. Company's year end is 30th September 20x5. You're currently reviewing notes in relation to internal control. Okay. Payroll. JEE. Okay, should be a spelling error. It's JJE. Has a workforce of 90 employees who monitor the machines. Company manufactures 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay. Company operates 3 shift every day with employees working 8 hours each. So 8 into 3, 24. 90 employees. Okay. They are required to clock in and out using an employee swipe card, which identifies the employee number and links into the hours worked report produced by the computerized payroll system. So they have an automatic system for attendance, and this will record the employee number and links into the hours worked report produced by the computerized payroll system. Now this is all about payroll. Okay. Employees are paid on an hourly basis for each hour worked. Okay. The payroll department calculates on a weekly basis the cash wages to be paid to the workforce based on the hours worked report multiplied by the hourly wage rate with appropriate tax deduction. So payroll department is calculating on weekly basis. How are they paid? They are paid on hourly basis, and probably payout is happening every day or every week. They are paid on hourly basis. Payroll department is calculating on weekly basis the cash wages. So probably they are not doing bank transfer. This seems to be like a deficiency. Based on the hours worked report multiplied by the hourly wage rate. Hours worked report. Okay, that is coming from the system. Then multiplied by the hourly wage rate with appropriate tax deduction. As these calculations are generated by the payroll system with low chance of error, they are not checked. Whenever you have a negative word in the internal control situations, that is an error. So here we have an error. During the year, the hourly wage was increased by the human resource department, and this was notified to the payroll department at a team meeting. This is also a problem because HR can't directly involve in increasing the pay rate. Maybe they can give suggestions to the board stating that okay, this is the hourly wage rate generally in the market being provided, or the market rates are increasing, so should we also increase? They can give assistance like or advices on how much should the increase be, but they can't increase it directly until, let's say, the payroll management or the finance management or the board of directors as a whole is involved in it. And considering that there's 90 employees and shift is happening 24 hours a day and all employees are paid on hourly basis, this means HR is increasing the wage for every employee in the company. So HR doesn't have that right or the access to directly increase the salary. So there's a problem with the job role over here. So this was notified to the payroll department at the team meeting. So here we have found two errors. Over here also there's an error actually, because they told that the employee is swiping in and out. The system is identifying the employee number and links into the work hours worked report produced by the computerized payroll system. But there's no information given over here if anyone is supervising or anyone is monitoring at this point, where, like for example, someone is checking who is going in and who is going out. Because if no one is checking in, let's say for example, if I am the employee and my friend is on leave, I can take his card and my card also, go over there, tap in, and then go in, do the work. When I'm tapping out, I'll tap in, tap out for both. So now what happens, system is recording that me and my friend was tapping in, two employees are there, and they're tapping out. They must have worked for 8 hours, so both of us will get a payment. But that person was not even there in the company, he was on leave. So is there anyone looking after this? Is there anyone monitoring this? That's not given over here, but that would be a little out of the box information. Okay, so that is a deficiency, but that's like a out of box or thought deficiency. It's not given any information over here. For now I'm not using it. I'll try finding information from the other ones. Like, we found information about no check is being done and HR increasing the payroll. We found two errors. If in case I'm finding one more from this paragraph, then I'm not going to use this. If in case I'm not able to find anything from here, definitely one should be there in that paragraph. But if I'm not able to find it, then I'll use this thing and create a deficiency out of that. All right. So we have two errors over here. Let's build up the sentences. First one, as these calculations are generated by payroll system with low chances of error, they are not checked. As JJE places heavy reliance on the computerized system for payroll calculations, if any errors arise in the payroll records or calculation, this can lead to wrong salaries being paid to employees. Hence, it may end up with overpayment of salary, which is increased cost, or underpayment of salary, employees dissatisfied. Cool. So we told what is the problem with it. Now control recommendation. What can the management do? It's not what auditor should do. Control recommendation is what management should do. Deficiency is what problem is there for the client company, not for me. So always remember the point of view when you're doing the discussion. So control recommendation is what should the company do to avoid this thing. First, you can start with a flip point, meaning here computerized system is there, manual rechecking is not happening. So you can write over there as a recommendation, manual rechecking should happen. Now that is just a flip point, but you should not stop over there. You should add more points. That is just to get the starting. So JJ must ensure that a sample of automatic calculations from payroll system is recalculated manually recalculated manually by a official from payroll department. Now we wrote the flip point, but this is not enough. What can you add on this? Try pushing it somehow, you'll get a valid point. What more can they do after checking this? They can check and maybe do one thing. This check should happen, let's say here they didn't tell how payment is made, but we can assume that payment is made on a weekly basis because it's cash payment. So we can assume that it is paid on weekly basis, or it could be monthly basis also. Now I don't know when this payment is made, so what we can assume is we can put a general statement that this particular recalculation should happen before the payroll processes the payment. Now we don't know weekly or monthly, so don't put the timing because that will be an assumed point. So just say that it should be done before this. For example, if weekly payments are made and only monthly recalculation happens at the month end, then it's pointless, because After the payments are made, either overpayment or underpayment happens, then you do the cross checking, then there's no point. So you can add the point over here. This manual recalculation should happen prior to payroll being processed to employees. Here we can stop. But one more thing you can do is, whenever this recalculation or some review is being done by someone, it's always good to state that, okay, I have reviewed this. How can they state that this review is complete? By putting a signature and like a date of when this, what is this, when this review is done. So this review can be signed as complete for evidence, along with date along with date of review. So it's understood that this review is done before the payroll being processed. So it is easier for cross referring. Cool. So hope you followed with the first part. Second thing was HR is during the year hourly rate was increased by HR department. This was notified at the D meeting. Okay. First thing, considering that all all employees work on a considering that all employees are paid on hourly basis, and there's a 24-hour operation going on. This means increasing the hourly wage even by a small amount can ultimately become a huge expense for the company. This role hence or this decision hence is not to be taken by the HR department alone, rather should be collectively taken at the board level, involving the senior officials of the company. Involving senior officials. So what happens over here, if in case they are taking up this thing, or if they are taking up this role, there is a lack in proper understanding of their job roles. Secondly, they could do some fictitious entries as well. For example, if HR knows someone personally from this particular 90 employees, there are chances that HR department is being little biased towards them, and they're trying to increase the hourly wages so they get the money. But this will cause huge expenses for the company. So that is main problem over here. So first problem is, hence this shows a lack in understanding of the job roles to be done by HR department, and moreover an unauthorized and moreover a chance for an unauthorized increase in wages to happen, leading to high expenses for the company. Now, what can the recommendation be? Whatever we wrote, first we are going to flip it. First thing, what is the explanation, or what are the problems we told? Lack in job understanding. So there should be a proper job descriptions mentioned for each department, so everyone is knowing that. So JJE company must create clear, well-defined job descriptions for each department and ensure that everyone sticks to it. So first thing is okay, job segregation and descriptions are fine. Second thing, there is a chance for unauthorized increase in wages to happen. That means HR should not be involved in it. So what can the opposite situation we should be? HR department should HR department can be involved in advising or putting forward ideas related to payroll hike, no, what is it, wage increase, but the final decision should always happen at the board level. What else can we flip over here? Considering that all employees are on hourly basis, no, this was all collectively taken at board level. Okay. During the hourly wage was increased by HR department, and this was notified to payroll department at a team meeting. Okay. We can say what payroll department should do. Now, payroll department should simply not listen to HR department in order to, increase the payroll. Rather, they need to ensure that if any payroll is increasing, a final email or a final confirmation should come from the board directly. Then only they are going to, increase the salary. So we're going to flip this and add a value to it. The payroll department should not increase salary based on HR team's notification at a team meeting. So we just basically flipped this point, but that is not enough. Now add more to it. Rather, they should officially get a confirmation via email. Now this could be team meeting, means probably they're sitting together and they're having a mouth conversation, like verbal agreements. That is not enough. So they should officially get a confirmation via email or other written documents. Either they should officially get a confirmation via email or through or other written documents from the board directly before processing any hike in payroll. Cool. So that is done. Now we have to find one more from this paragraph. Each Friday, the payroll department prepares the pay packet and physically hands out to these workforce. So Friday. So this is a weekly payment that is happening. So it's clear over here. So earlier we told something about JJ must ensure that a sample of automatic calculations from payroll scans. This manual recalculation should happen prior to the payroll being processed to employees, which is before Friday every week. Because as per the date over here, it's on Friday that salary is being paid. Cool. Then prepares the pay packets and physically hands these out to the workforce. One more thing, why this thing particular adding Friday every week is a little important over here, or shows a little professionalism, is that whatever other information that I wrote over here about manual recalculation being done, a sign being done before payroll being processed being done, all of this is a general point, meaning whenever a calculation is being done and it's not being tested by anyone, it's a general rule that, or a general recommendation that we are providing. When I mention this thing, which is before Friday every week, the examiner also gets to know that I am carefully reading this case study and I'm getting information from there, and I'm not giving some random information or some rote learned information from the exam kit that I have practiced. So this also increases that professionalism in your answer, that you're analyzing the case study well, you're putting your foot into that particular situation and analyzing it rather than giving general answers. It's not that if I don't write this before Friday thing, I will lose marks or anything, but a little bit extra professionalism comes in your answers. Cool. All right. Next thing, the payroll department prepares the pay packet and physically hands out to these workforce who operate the morning and late afternoon shift upon production of identification. Okay, what does that mean? However, for the night shift workers, okay, there are three shifts that was mentioned over here. They they are working in three shift. So for morning and evening, they are preparing the pay packet and giving it on Friday. However, for the late night shift worker, the pay packet are given to the factory supervisor to distribute. So morning and afternoon, payroll department is involving. Night shift, the supervisor, factory supervisor is distributing. That means factory supervisor is taking the role of the payroll department. Again, a job description problem is over here. Then, if any night shift employees are absent on the payday, that is on Friday, then the factory supervisor keeps these wages. So they're keeping it in their own pocket because it's a cash payment, and returns to them to the payroll department on Monday. So there's a huge problem over here with this night shift payment. One major problem is pay packet itself, because they're giving, manual. One thing is it's manually calculated and put in different packets to hand it over. Secondly, uh, this thing is not a bank transfer, so a proper record is not there for the transaction that's happening. For example, I give the pay packet today. There's no clear mentioning of they them recording, like who is collecting the payment or anything. Plus, my friend could also collect the money for me, then I could claim later that I didn't get any money. So all of these troubles could come up if it's a pay packet thing. Instead, if it's a bank transaction, then it's very easy, because transaction happen on a weekly basis. There's proper records of who is being paid and who is not being paid, so that this problem of employees being on leave on Friday is not there, because bank is not on leave. You can just do the transfer for whatever they are eligible to get paid. So first thing we can do is this pay packet we can shift into bank transfer. That is one issue. Then there are more issues over here with the night shift employees being paid, then money being taken to payroll. A lot of things are there. But since we need only one more thing, we'll just stick to this pay packet and shift it to bank transfer. All right. The Each Friday, the payroll department prepares pay packet and physically hands out these workforce who operate the morning and late night shift upon production of identification. Okay, is if probably this means that employees have to give their identity cards or something, only then they are being paid. Okay, so the employees are being paid correctly, so that is not a problem over here. Production of identification, but we can say that pay packet doesn't look right, doesn't look right over here. Okay, so we can hand it over here. So each Friday, payroll department prepares the pay packet and physically hands these out to workforce who operate the morning and late night shift upon production of identification. So as payments are being made, okay, this doesn't look really okay, because first thing, this is you know daily wages kind of thing. This is a production factory or like a manufacturer, and they are being paid on identification. That means correct person is being paid. What could go wrong over here? Maybe they're allocating this manually. That means once they put in the pay packets, they can't identify. Okay, pay packets could have wrong amounts. For example, when they're packing, if some error happens, there are chances that amount in this pay packet could go wrong, because, like, let's say 90 employees are there, they have to put on a weekly basis, so 90 packets will be there. And there are chances that, okay, maybe one or two notes goes from one packet to other one, there could be an error over here. Okay, that could be the error we can identify. So because the person being paid wrongly, that is not there, because they are anyways giving the identification, so my friend can't claim money for me. So that problem is sorted. So we can write about the wrong amount, as payments are being made for 90 employees on a weekly basis. This causes huge packing time for cash every week. Hence, as this is done manually, there are chance of errors that could happen in the packing, where money may get misplaced within the packets, causing certain employees to be overpaid while other to be underpaid, and this overall being difficult to be traced. Why it would be difficult to trace? Because employees who got underpaid may bring this to payroll attention, while those who got overpaid will stay silent, because from the record point of view, payroll department will know that okay, Mr. A got maybe $100, Mr. B got $100, Mr. C got $100. So three people are there, let's assume. Now Mr. A got in their packet only $80. How will the company know what Mr. B and Mr. C got? Because the record was showing $100, but because cash got misplaced, maybe Mr. B got 110 or maybe 120, and Mr. C got correct $100 itself. Now this cash they must have definitely removed from the packet. They must have used it, or they must have put in the purse, or whatever happens, or they must have put in their bank also. How will the payroll department know who got this extra 120, especially when there are 90 people? Plus, this is done on a weekly basis, so that tracing becomes very difficult if in case any misplace happens. So, company will have to end up, compensating for the people who got less paid, and that becomes an extra expense for the company. So, this is all the problems with doing this cash packet thing. Now, how can this be avoided? Simply by shifting it to a bank transfer. And on a weekly basis, does the company have to sit and transfer to each person writing the account number? No, you just have to give what do you call, an instruction to the bank telling that these are my employees, these are the salaries to be paid, and just process it. So they'll do it automatically. So a lot of time can be saved with this, lot of efforts can be saved, and the payroll department can look after the other things to be done properly. Cool. So how can we flip this thing? First, cash thing, we have to shift to bank transfer. JJ company can shift the salary transfer mode of salary transfer from manual packed cash payments to bank transfers. Now we just made a flip point. Is this enough? No, we have to push little more. What we can say, payroll department can provide standing instructions to bank about the employee details and their bank accounts, and on a weekly basis send them a send them a list of approved calculated payroll to be processed, and the bank could do this automatically. Hence, could do this. This allows payroll department to save a lot of time in packing and focus on other operations of the focus on other payroll operations properly. Moreover, bank transactions will have a trace of payment. Well, that last paragraph was not needed actually. I just concluded that thing, but only this much was enough. Okay. So with that, we are done with our 3 points over here for deficiency. So we don't have to use this thing about the employees clocking in and clocking out, then supervisor monitoring and all. That's all. You can forget it. We have 3 points over here, and with that, we are done with this question. Now let's move to the three situation over here in respect of inventory count. That is the next paragraph. Inventory count is over here. We have to find deficiency, provide a control recommendation, and describe test of control also. So this is a 3 box question. Let's just expand this thing. So 3 questions means 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark over here. 3 into 3, this is going to be for 9 marks. Cool. Alright, let's begin. JJ is planning to undertake a full inventory count at the year end of its raw material, work in progress, and finished goods, and you will be attending this count. Okay. Count will be undertaken by 10 teams of 2 counters from the warehouse department, with a senior official from JJ's finance department providing overall supervision. So undertaken by 10 teams of 2 counters from the warehouse department. What is this inventory count? Who is counting this? People from the warehouse department. So senior official looking after this is from the finance department, that is fine. But the people counting is this from the warehouse department itself. So who maybe you can have a mix of people, maybe one person from warehouse and one person from another department, so that there's a scrutiny in counting. If it's the same person who is working there throughout, who is involved in counting as well, then there are chances that it's like a self review kind of thing. Self review threat is there. They must have initially placed all the inventory and things and all, then they themselves are counting it. There are chances some errors could happen and no one will find it. So that is one error, but then okay, we'll just keep it on hold. Let's see if we can find any other information. Only three we have to find. Each team of two will be allocated a number of aisles within the warehouse to count, and they will be provided with sequentially numbered inventory sheets which contain information from the inventory records, product code, and quantity also. So each team of two, okay, there are 10 teams, and each team of two, they'll be allocated a number of aisles. So each team is given stating that okay, you're to count these aisles within the warehouse to count, and they'll be provided with sequentially numbered thing. First problem is they're given allocated number of aisles, but how much each person in this should count is not given. So what would happen? Either the chances that two people will keep on counting the same thing, and what two people counting the same thing means, there's no again scrutiny between each other. The point of having two people is one person will count and the other person will cross check this thing. So these two people are supposed to look after different counting aisles and not the same counting aisle. So there needs to be a differentiation in their counting as well. So that is another problem we can write over here. Let's keep on seeing. We'll see what other easy points are there to write. But since we have found two, we just need one more to write in our answer. Then it's given sequentially numbered inventory sheets which contain information from the inventory records, which is having product code and the quantity. Now you can say this as positive thing also, you can see this as negative thing also. Inventory record means already some records are there, and that is having the product details and quantity. If the same thing is there in inventory sheet, on a positive note you can say that when they are counting and they write beside this records how much is the quantity, some differences can be found out and you can just review that. But on another note, we are giving control deficiency, so we have to look at the negative side. What could be the negative side of this? If the details from inventory record, the quantities are given directly to the people who are counting, and if these are lazy employees, what they would do is instead of counting it, they will simply say that okay, inventory record is telling this aisle has 100 items, so we'll just write okay 100 items. So what happens? Inventory count shows that figures are exactly equal to the inventory record, and they'll just pass it because they didn't count it and they just wrote the figure directly over there. Now what happens? The inventory count may get overstated or may get understated as well. So that is another problem. We found three already, but let's just keep reading and find out what else is there. Counters will move through each allocated aisle, counting an inventory and confirming that it agrees with the inventory sheet. Okay, the point which we mentioned right now. They're confirming with the inventory sheet by counting the inventory. So without counting inventory, they might simply write the same figure as per inventory sheet and tell that, okay, we agree the balances are correct. Where a difference is found, they will note this on the sheet. So where differences are not found, it will not be on the sheet. So we clearly found that problem. The warehouse is large and some of the aisles have been rented out to third parties with similar operation. These are scattered throughout the warehouse, which means during the count of aisles, they might end up counting the third party inventory also. So, because it is scattered throughout the warehouse. For completeness, counters have been asked to count the inventory for all aisles, noting the third party inventories on a separate blank inventory sheet, and the finance department will make any necessary adjustment. So, you're basically counting everything together, then minusing out what all is the uh, third party inventory. But the problem is they have similar operation, which means the inventory could be same, and there are chances that you might make an error where you don't exactly understand out of this which one would be the third party inventory or which one is your inventory. So there is a chance of over counting of third party inventory. So we found the fourth problem. Some of JJ's finished goods are high in value and are stored in a locked area of the warehouse, and all the counting teams will be given the code to access this area. Considering that this is a high in value item and it is stored in a locked area, which gives an indication that this is not supposed to be accessed by everyone, but this is being given an access to everyone. Then what is the point of keeping it in a locked area if everyone is given an access? So that gives a very logical understanding that some problem is there. Not everyone should be given the access, only senior officials should be given an access. There will be no dispatches. No, negative word is a deficiency always. There will be no dispatches of inventory during the count, and it is not anticipated that there will be any deliveries from supplier. Oh, my bad. That is not a negative point. That is a positive point. They're telling that no movement in inventory will happen during the count. That means it is a good thing. No dispatch of inventory is happening, and there is no anticipated that there will be any deliveries from supplier. So nothing will come in, nothing will go out. Everything will be staying static over there. That is a good point. So my bad. Just because a negative word is there, don't forcefully try finding anything. There's nothing over there. That's a positive note. Cool. So we found three items from here. We found one item over here. We found one item over here. So we have 5 points. So what we can do, we can write any of it, whatever we find easy. What we'll do is, we'll take one from here. We'll take one from here. We'll take one from here. So what was the last thing we discussed about high in value goods? Let's start writing that. Some of JG's finished goods are high in value and stored in a locked area of warehouse, and all counting teams will be given an access code to this area. Copy, paste. Now, what is the problem? Considering this is high in value item. Considering this as high in value item, if every employees, no, who is that? If every counting team is given access to this area, there are chances they may misuse or utilize these assets for personal purposes. Considering it's a high value item, maybe like jewelry or something. Okay, no idea. What is this company involved in? Manufacturing electrical equipment. So maybe they could resell that item to someone else. So misuse or utilize these assets for personal purposes, hence causing a loss or theft in inventory as well. Cool. What can be the control recommendation? First thing, start writing the flip points. Um, Finished goods and stored in a locked area where all counting teams will be given a code to access this area. So first thing, all team members should not be given an access to this area. The locked areas access code should not be given to all counting teams. Now that is a flip point. Now how we can add value? Just push it somehow. What we can do? Rather only senior officials must be involved in counting these high value items and having an access to these room, what is that, locked area, to these areas. What more can we add value? Whenever something about passwords or access codes is there, there's a general point that you should change it at some point of time. It's not that forever you keep one code, because at some point this gets leaked out, this will reach everywhere. So what you have to do, this access code needs to be updated frequently and changed, so that even if the original password gets leaked out to all employees, once changed, they can't access with the old one. So the access code needs to be frequently updated so that even if the old access code gets leaked out to all employees, they won't be able to reach the locked area. So that is enough. What is test of control? Test of control means what, as an auditor, I will do to ensure whatever I recommended is actually working or not. So I have to now focus on the second box. What did I tell in the first box? Only senior officials should be having these high value items, I mean access to these areas. So what can I do? This is an inventory count that's happening. I am allowed to physically attend this, you will be attending this count. So what I can do is I can go sit over there and see in that locked area with the high value item, is there anyone who is not a senior official member coming and accessing this area. So I can just confirm physically that no one is accessing that place. So the auditor must physically attend the count at high value inventory area and ensure that ensure that the counting team involved with this inventory are only people of sufficient authority or senior position. So it's not the same as the other one, or you can just say that also. And is not same as the and is not same as the and is not same as the other counting team involved in the count of other inventories in warehouse. Okay, so first thing, we confirm that this thing is working out. What is the second thing we told? The access code being updated. So what I can do is I can be given I can use some old access code. I can ask them what was the old access code, or I can ask what is the new access code, then type in and enter this. Then I can ask what was the old access code, try that also, then see if in case this is working or not. Then I can know that the access code is changing. So obtain an old access code and try entering the area to confirm that this does not work. Moreover, the access code, one more thing I can do is the access code that is being given now, the inventory, this is inventory count will be happening at the year end, correct? Is it given anywhere? It is 1st July 20x5, 30th September is a year end. That means your audit will go on even after the year end. So what you can do is during the inventory count, you'll be given an access code. You're trying to enter this. After some time during the audit going on, just try later on using that same access code and see if you can enter or not. So if you're not able to enter, it means that that access code is also changed. Moreover, the access code used during the inventory count can be collected and can be collected and auditors can try using the same access code later during the audit and confirm they are not able to enter these locked areas. Cool. So we confirm that this first thing is also working, second thing is also working. So with that, we are done with the first problem. That is 3 marks. Second problem we told here was having, what was this issue? The third party items. Now this is too big of an information, so I can just write it short. The warehouse includes similar items from a third party scattered throughout the warehouse. The counting team counts all aisle and finance super who is it who makes the adjustment? Finance department. Okay, and finance department will make necessary adjustments to it. Now what is the problem with this? Considering the considering the third party items are of similar nature, there are chances that counting teams may not identify this clearly, causing the inventories to be counted together and get overstated in the counts. Simple, only that much is enough. What can we do in order to do this? Now here flip point is not exactly like, for example, I can't tell that the counting team should not count the third party. That would not be very much making a sense at all. So that point, even if it's a flip point, that won't make any sense to start over here. So what I can tell is I can give some other recommendations where instead of scattering this throughout, how they can, arrange it properly. So this is like a general point with third party inventories. You must have seen the exam kit solutions as well. So mostly you can use the same thing here as well. Here something very case specific is about counting team doing all the counts together and finance team making the adjustment. So you have to specifically talk something about that. First we can say is the client, no, who's the client? JJ company must must have a procedure in place where third party inventory is placed in a separate secluded in a separate area of the warehouse, especially because these are of similar nature of that of JJ's inventory and should not be mixed up. Now they place it in different areas. Then what? After this, they should not have a counting that's happening at all. Here they told that they are going to count this entire thing and finance team will do the adjustment for this. Instead of this, because it's loaded up in a separate area, it shows that that's a third party inventory and you don't have to count it. Now for the count, what was being given, there was an inventory record and something was given. Each team will be allocated the number of aisles within the warehouse and they will be provided with inventory sheet. Inventory sheet means details of all the inventory that is there in the warehouse. So what should be confirmed over here is, one thing, this is located in a separate place. Secondly, this counting aisles, the number of aisles being given to the counting team, plus the inventory sheet that is being given, should not have any details about that third party inventory, because you don't want the counting team to go there and sit and count everything, because that's not part of your inventory. So the counting sheet should not have any of this information. The number of aisles that are being allocated for the counting team should also not have this particular item. So the JJ must also ensure that the counting teams should also ensure that the inventory sheets given to counting inventory sheets and the aisles to be counted given to counting teams do not include any details regarding this third party inventory. So that is enough. Now what can I as an auditor do to confirm these two things are working? What is first thing? Whether this is included in a separate place or not. First thing, auditor can physically visit the area, in warehouse where third party inventory is stored and confirm that. How do I confirm? If I simply go there and stand there, can I understand this is third party inventory or their inventory, JJ's inventory? No, because JJ's inventory is of similar nature of that kind of the third party inventory also. So there needs to be something that is indicating, because I as an auditor is an outsider, I have no idea whose inventory this is. So how can I understand this? There should be some flag, or there should be some sticker or some identification mark stating that this is a third party inventory and this is not our inventory. So I can physically go and verify that something like this is mentioned over there. Okay, so and confirm that some identification mark or flag is there indicating it's a third party inventory location. So first part is sorted, something is located over there. Is that the only thing I want to confirm? No, there's one more thing I told. This inventory sheet should not have any information regarding this thing. So what I can do, I can collect a sample of inventory sheet and confirm that all items recorded over here are only things related to JJ's inventory and no third party inventory or records are involved over here. So obtain a sample of inventory sheets and confirm that data mentioned is only of JJE's inventory and no third party inventory data is included within it. One more thing I can do to confirm that is I can physically go to that third party area and confirm that no counting team is coming here. Because if any counting team is coming here, that means they were given instruction to count that. If no one is coming, means they don't have any instruction. So also physically verify at the third party inventory location that no counting teams are conducting a count at that place. Cool. So that is it with the third party part. Now one item we'll find from here that was about the inventory records, and they're just marking this thing where difference is found. So the counters will move through each inventory and confirming it agrees with the inventory where difference is found, they'll note on the sheet. Okay, we'll just rephrase it. uh, Inventory uh, sheets inventory sheets are given to counting teams with product code and quantities from inventory records, and where a difference is found they will note on this sheet. Where a difference is found they will note on the sheet. Now what is the problem over here? If the counting team is under pressure to finish counting or is lazy to do their job, they might blindly agree to the inventory records stating that they found the same during the inventory count without actually doing the count themselves. Hence, what can happen? This can lead to overstatement or understatement of inventory. Hence, this can lead to the count of inventory being over or understated and errors not being identified. Now, what can you do to, as a recommendation, how can you flip this thing? First thing, inventory sheet is being given. What is the reason that they could do this blindly without counting? Because they know that what is the inventory record and what is the quantity in this. So because that quantity is there and they know some record was there, the counting team's work is to only agree it in the inventory sheet. So what you can do is you can split this role. That is, don't give them the inventory counts, meaning inventory records. Sorry, inventory record. Don't give them. So if you are not giving them, then what happens? They don't have any data of how much is there. So they're forcefully going to count and figure it out. Now what happens? They'll count it. They'll write some number. Will they blankly write some random number thinking that okay, this could be 250 items, 250? Will they do that? No, because after this there will be a check done by some supervisor or someone who's going to check how much this is in comparison to the original inventory record. If in case this is, let's say, only 50 item and there it is 250 item, then it will be identified that the counting team didn't do the work properly. So they'll have that fear that okay, I should do the count carefully and do it properly. If not, I'll get caught later on. So now they will be forced to do the work properly and the count properly. So this issues with inventory counts going over or understated will not have any problem, and that problem will be sorted. Secondly, if any differences are there, only in these locations you can go and recheck once again and find out why that differences came up. Cool. So this is how we are going to flip this point. First, writing the flip point. The inventory sheets should only inventory sheets given to employees should only have details regarding the product name and quotes, but not quantities. So quantity should not be there. Then that was like a flip point. What else can I write? We told about the checking part, uh, but not quantities. Then once the count is over, a senior official or a supervisor or the count supervisor should cross check the count should cross check the inventory sheets where count is written by the team to the original inventory records records, and where differences arise, a recount should be conducted. Sorted. Now as an auditor, how do I confirm that this thing is working out? First thing, I want to confirm that in the inventory sheet no quantities are there. How do I do that? Get a copy of inventory sheet, then ensure that this data is not there. So auditor must obtain a copy of inventory sheet, or no, not copy, obtain samples of inventory sheets and confirm that no inventory quantities are mentioned within it. Secondly, I want to confirm whether a recount is happening or not. For inventory counts completed, for inventory counts completed, and where differences arise in inventory sheet, and for a sample where differences arise in inventory sheet to inventory records, physically verify that a different counting team, okay, that I can write over here, and where differences arise, a recount should be conducted by a different counting team than the first one. So for the inventory count completed and for a sample where differences arise in inventory sheet to inventory records, what was I saying? Yeah, physically verify that a different counting team is involved with the count. So for inventory counts completed, for a sample where differences arise in inventory sheet to inventory record, physically verify that a different counting team is involved with the count, and a new inventory sheet no, that is not needed. The inventory count. Okay, that is enough. Cool. So we found 3 problems over here, and with that we're done with this question as well. Now moving to that one final question that we have. I think from the navigator we can find that there's one question that we didn't do. That is the second audit procedure question from where is it? From this question. So we can do this one as well and wind it up. It's from a different case study, but I hope since we did this Word and Vision company for that first question and Stark Foods for the third question, we can assume that this one is going to be over here about audit procedure. So what is the question? With respect to the company's describe audit procedure to be performed in respect of insurance claim. This is 6 marks, so I have to write 6 procedure. Okay. What was the beginning? It is 1st July 2005. You are an audit supervisor of Olympus and Company responsible for final audit for 3 clients. Okay. For 31st this May X5. Okay. Curly's current company double C produces circuit boards which are sold to manufacturers of electrical equipment such as computers and mobile phones. Manufacturer of, okay, they're producing circuit board. Okay. One of the key materials used in the production is copper wiring. In early May 2005, that is before the year end, production was halted for a week at the production facility as a number of customers had returned goods claiming faults in the circuit boards. So, who is the customer? These manufacturer of computer and mobile phone. So, they have returned the goods claiming faults in the circuit boards that were supplied. On inspection, it was found that the copper used in the circuit board was corroded and therefore unsuitable for use. Okay. Mm, mm. One of the key materials used in production is copper wiring, and that is the thing that was corroded. Okay. CC's business insurance covers the company for specific occasions when the business is interrupted. Okay. Finance director has informed you that a claim has been made on 28th May 20x5, that is before year end, for $5 million, which she has estimated to cover the period when production was halted due to the problem with corroded copper. An adjustment has been made to recognize the 5 million as a receivable as a 31st May X5. First thing is, this is an insurance claim, so it's an asset, and you can record an asset only when it is highly probable. So sorry, not even probable, virtually certain should be there. So there are a few things from the IS 37 rules that I can bring up to confirm whether this is claimable or not. Since this is related to a third party, there are also a few evidences I can collect. I can call them and ask. I can look out for correspondence between them. Then I can come to the company and see what do they think, whether they'll get it or not. I can look at the minutes of the board to understand what internal discussions have been going on regarding this thing. Maybe I can also, this is specifically about insurance claims, so I can, yeah, once we start writing, maybe we'll get some points. We got few points right now. Before forgetting, let's start writing it. First thing is, I can contact this insurance company and find out whether um, what are the chances of payment, meaning what is the standing of this insurance claim, are they going to cover it or not. So with because this is a third party, I need always the permission from the client company. So with CC's permission, contact insurance company and understand their stand with regards to release of insurance claim and the chance of with regards to release of insurance claim and the chance of transfer and possible date of transfer as well. Possible date of transfer. Second thing, uh, I can do a continuation of this thing itself, like a different procedure. Here I told about the chance of payment and things. I want also to confirm whether they're going to cover this amount or not. So it's a C's permission. More auditors can also get a confirmation from the insurance company about the amount that they would cover with the insurance claim if being agreed. I can write it over here also, and possible date of transfer and also an amount. Let's say if in case I'm getting, let's say, 7 procedures, then I can just net it off together and write over here and date of transfer and also the amount of transfer. So that becomes one single procedure. I've written it as two, assuming that I might run out of points. So I'll see if I can get any extra points, then we can do a net off later on. Cool. Third thing, I can look at the correspondence between this and identify what is the possible chance of claim being covered. Review correspondence between insurance company and what is the company, CC, insurance company and CC, to identify any confirmation with regards to Review correspondence between insurance company and CC to identify any confirmation with regards to the insurance claim being approved. If it is not approved, what would happen? If it's not approved, means it's either only a probable chance or possible chance or remote chance. Based on the chance, they'll have to follow either a contingent asset or they have to ignore it completely. So you can let the company know that about the insurance claim. Discuss with management and advise them about the IAS 37 rules regarding recording a future asset only based on only if it is virtually certain to be claimed and if probable to be disclosed as a contingent asset, while to be ignored in books if possible or remote chance of claim being approved. Cool. We told something about board minutes. What can I get idea from board minutes? I can identify what discussions are going on between them, and I can figure out what do they actually think about this claim being satisfied, and what could be their future plans on how they intend to cover up this thing. There was some copper being corroded and the production was on halt. I can get an understanding, okay, what is their thinking about whether the insurance claim would be they would be getting or not, plus what are their future plans about this copper corrosion thing. So review board minutes and obtain an understanding of review board minutes and obtain an understanding of management regarding the chance of insurance claim being approved and also about their future plans regarding the circuit boards improvement of circuit boards quality. Now, they are the manufacturers of circuit boards. They are getting copper wiring probably from somewhere else and they're making this circuit boards. What was the issue over here? Copper used was corroded. So they might go like they are getting their process is being stopped because something went wrong. What they can do, they can go and sue that company who is giving them copper in the first place because they provided raw materials like copper which was faulty, like a corroded item. So they can go sue them. Now I can understand from the board minutes this thing also whether they have any plans of suing that company as well and what is the situation with that thing. So review board minutes to identify if the company has any plans of suing the existing copper supplier or changing the supplier for the item. Changing the supplier. Now we found 6 items. What else can I find? Mm, copper wiring production was halted. What's company's business insurance is covering company for specific occasion when business is interrupted. Now insurance company will have certain policies like for so and so reasons only we will be covering it. So I can obtain the policies made by the insurance company and get a contract for what CC company has with insurance company, review this policies and confirm whether this kind of a production halt is covered or not, so I can understand the policies. So obtain the obtain documents related to insurance contract with the obtain documents related to insurance contract of CC with the insurance company, go through, no, review the insurance policies and claims that is covered under the contract, and obtain an understanding whether a claim would be passed for a production, what was this, a for a business interruption of this nature. Review the insurance policies and claims that is covered under the contract, and obtain an understanding whether a claim would be passed for a business interruption of this nature. Okay, fine. Now 6 only was needed, we made 7. Then okay, our go always final exit point, we can write about uh disclosure notes. Review disclosure notes regarding the insurance claim and confirm they are adequate in accordance with IAS 37. Not mandatory that you have to write the accounting standard number. You can just write that is in accordance with the is accordance with IFRS, or it's in accordance with financial reporting standards, or in accordance with the accounting standard IAS 37 and regulatory requirements. So anything you can write. Now we have done 8, so I think we can wind up with this. One another go-to point like an exit road you can always use is the not always use, in most cases you can use about the management representation, a written representation letter, and confirming that this amounts may be, it's like a confirmation from the client stating that this amount could be passed. But that's not a very reliable evidence. That was there in the previous question about how reliable written representations are. It's a client made evidence, so it's not very reliable. But yes, still, I hope you got all the points with regards to how we write the audit procedures. And with that, we are done with this complete paper and all the questions are done. Hope you have followed with everything, and hope all the techniques that we have used in every question over here, especially in this video with internal controls and the audit procedures. Hope you are clear with the brainstorming ideas and how we present it on the paper, how we write statements very much connecting to the case study and not just using random knowledge. Definitely random knowledge can be used as a starting point, but you have to try connecting to the case study as much as possible. All right, so with that, we're done with this particular question paper for the pre-mocks June 2025 session, and hope these videos have been helpful. Make sure to share these videos to your other audit buddies as well who is preparing for their exam, and hope it is of some help in some or the other way to y'all. Good luck with your preparations for the audit exam. Do let us know how these videos have been helpful for your preparation. Do let us know the comment section, or make sure to DM through Instagram or WhatsApp me, and let me know how your preparations are going, how these videos have been helpful. Plus, let me know how your exams go 2 weeks later, plus how your results are going to be later on once it is out. All right. So, best wishes once again, and just like every other video should end, make sure to like this video, share it, comment, subscribe, whatever buttons are there, click everything. And yes, good luck with the AA exam. See you in the next session.